What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid trance. And that's to say, we're going back to the 90s, going back to some classic acid trance. We're going to listen to a tune from 1996. I've mentioned it in regard to a number of genres, whether you're talking acid trance, acid techno, Goa trance, hardcore. 96, 97, it just feels like a period where so many genres were not only crystallizing and really coming into their own, but also just some of the very best material in all those genres I just mentioned. 96, 97, 95, 98, the mid 90s. There's just a lot of great stuff going on, and that is very much the case for acid trance. We're going to listen to a tune on Acid Test, but to be clear, this is a German label, Acid Test, and they made mainly like acid trance, hard trance. There is a UK label, Acid Test, started a little bit later, I want to say, like mid to late 90s instead of early 90s, like this Acid Test in Germany. And that's run by Acid Ted, and it's much more of like a acid techno mixed with a bit of hard house sort of feel. But yeah, this is the German Acid Test label, and it is, again, an acid trance, hard trance sort of label. This is a white label, as you can see. It's a tune called Afro Acid by Greenforce. And I wasn't aware, I have a couple records by them, but I actually wasn't aware until I looked them up on Discogs to put the information, or put the releases in my collection. But it's a duo, Marcus Luking and Patrick Salzman. They also made tunes under the name Lower Level and Urhim. So yeah, I don't have any other tunes under those two other aliases, but I do have another record of theirs under the name Greenforce. It's called Sleepless, and it's on Circles, and Circles is a cool little label. They make like, they put out like acid and acid trance and acid techno, also a German label. But yeah, so this is a tune called Afro Acid. There's three different mixes. The one we're going to listen to is called the Wild Whoopi Cat Mix. There's also, what is it, a Back to the Roots mix and Rave Acid mix. But as I said, we're going to listen to the Wild Whoopi Cat Mix, which you got to admit, that's a pretty good name for an acid trance mix. But here we go. This is Greenforce, Afro Acid, the Wild Whoopi Cat Mix on Acid Test, and it's Acid Test number, I think it's like 006-12. But yeah, here we go. Greenforce, Afro Acid, Wild Whoopi Cat Mix. We start like in an acid vortex. Gotta like find your way out of the elastic, rubbery acid. So the acid gurgling and flaring up already. Now we got like a tribal chant coming in. Plays a very prominent role. Like two acid entities conversing in acid language. And all the while that tribal like kind of pots and pans sort of percussion too. The acid is just like this, like a bubbling cauldron, but you have no control over the temperature. It comes up and like boils over at its own discretion. It's like an increasingly frantic, or like an extra frantic feeling at that break that just happened. More than anything we had heard before that. Another tribal chant, but this time different and a bit more prominent, not just kind of like a background, but the main like feature now. I feel like you could probably throw this into an acid techno set today, and most people wouldn't bat an eye. They'd be like, yeah, acid techno. Basically, I feel like the hard acid trance from back in the day, like, was as badass as the acid techno coming out at the time, just in a different way, like a more kind of like atmospheric way and less kind of like happening. But again, the acid is ferocious, the tempo is like fast. The synths are kind of hard and aggressive. Great outro too, like, you still got the clap, so you can layer this all the way over an incoming tune. And if you've just come into like the first breakdown of your new tune, this sort of acid like petering out is perfect. Ugh. Yeah, it's a tune. Both the other mixes are cool. I do think this is the most like really kind of, you know, fist pumping having it of the three. The having it now, just use that as a contrast. But yeah, bottom line, the other two mixes are great, and they're very similar, and all the elements are kind of the same. It has the chant, it has the acid work, it has that kind of you know, driving sort of feel to it. They're just slightly different configurations, and I think this is like the most intense of the three. But again, they're all in a very similar territory. So if you like that one, you'll like the other two for sure. That does also mean I probably won't come back and react to the other two just because they are so similar. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have anything else on the Acid Test label. I have, I think, a couple Asus records, like Acid Squid, I believe is on the Acid Test label. I'm trying to think of the other one. Might be Acid Train. Maybe I have that on Progressive PRG. I'm not sure. But basically, yeah, I have at least a couple other Acid Test records on this particular Acid Test label, which again, it's like a German hard trance, acid trance label. I think it went defunct like early 2000s, maybe like 01 or 02, I think is the last release. But yeah, it's a super cool tune. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the old school hard acid trance as I do. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.